Morning friends, welcome back to our professional ethics and human values class. Today we want to discuss about our third unit, professional ethics and human values. So here, scope of engineering ethics, right? So scope means limitations. So what are the limitations we have and what are the boundaries we need to have, right? As professional ethics, engineering ethics. So as an engineer, we have some boundaries. Those boundaries called as here scope of engineering ethics. So here first one is here engineering as social experimentations. Next, the engineer's responsibility for the safety and responsibility to the employees and rights of the engineers and global issues facing by the engineers. And next, engineers and the managers, consultant and heads. So engineers and managers, consultants and headers of the company, and the moral reasoning and ethical theories. These are the few concepts and a few scope or limitations or boundaries we need to know in the name of engineering ethics. In the name of engineering ethics. So these are the basic topics or basics boundaries as an engineer we need to follow. So first of all, once again I want to repeat it. Ethics means do the right things and don't do the wrong things, and having the right behavior and don't having the wrong behavior. Next, how to understand the situations of others. These are the few common things we need to do in front of the society. That is called as here ethics, right? Ethics. So here engineering ethics. Engineering ethics means as an engineer, what we need to do and what we need to have the behavior, right? What type of behavior we should have as an engineer, and what are the roles and the responsibilities and duties we follow, right? These all things are comes under here engineering ethics. Engineering ethics, right? So here engineering ethics, these are the boundaries or scope. So these are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the 7 topics or 7 boundaries we have. So first one is engineering as a social experimentation. So social experimentation. So as an engineer, we do the experimentations. We do the experimentations. So that is here social experimentation. This experimentation should be satisfied and should be useful to the society, right? So that is here engineer as a social experimentation. Look at this slide. So morally responsible engineers as a social experimenters. Social experimenters. So this is the first thing, right? So here the primary obligation to protect the safety of the human. So here look at carefully, protect the safety of the humans. So we need to protect the safety and safeguarding the public and the society, right? It is our primary obligation or primary responsibility to safeguarding the employees, right? To safeguarding the employees, human beings, right? The subject and respect their rights of consent. This is the first primary obligation, that is protect the safety of the human beings. These human beings may be in our employees or maybe in the society, right? So we need to protect both employees and employers as well as the society. So protect safety towards the human beings. The second thing in social experimentation is that a constant awareness of experimental nature of any project and forecasting and also monitoring the side effects. So here experimentation we are doing about any project, any contracts, and those estimation of future results, right? So forecasting the future results of particular project, right? Suppose we take a decision, or we need to make a product. So based upon that decision and our that uh, product, what are the consequences and what are the consequences we need to have in the future. So just estimation or analyze or forecasting those results and monitoring the side effects also. So it is the second major thing of engineers in the name of social experimentations, right? Next thing, autonomous and personal involvement in all aspects of a project. So autonomous and the personal involvement in all aspects of the project. So whatever decision is here, whatever project is here, whatever the developmental activity is here, we need to involve personally and we need to go through carefully about that decision and about that particular developmental activities. So these developmental activities is right or wrong, and having side effects or not having side effects. So just we need to go through personally in that particular project or a contract or developmental activities, right? This is the third thing of social experimentation. Next, the fourth thing is here, accepting accountability for the result of a project. So accountability means here responsibility. So accepting the responsibility to take the whole responsibility, right? For the development of the organization, for the development of their self, and also development of the society. For these three reasons, as an engineer, we need to take whole responsibility, right? This is all about moral responsibility of engineers in the name of social experiments. This is the first thing, social experimentations. And the next thing is the engineer's responsibility for the safety. So already I told you in this slide, protect the safety of humans. The same thing will appear here. The engineer's responsibility is to safeguarding the people, is to safeguarding the society, right? So that is the point is where engineers' responsibility towards protecting, safeguarding the human beings as well as the society, right? Either it may be employees or the society, right? So just take the responsibility for protecting the human beings. This is the second scope or surrounding of engineering ethics. And next, responsibility to employees. So as an engineer, we need to have some responsibilities to protect and to develop our company, to protect and develop our company. That is always here to take the responsibility as an engineer towards to develop the company, right? This is the next thing. Next, having the rights. We need to know rights having by engineers. So in the future, you will be an engineer, right? So we need to understand the rights of engineers. Look at this slide. The professional rights. As an engineer, we need to have some specific rights. Right? The first one is here, the right to form and express one professional judgment freely. Right? That is the first right. So here the right is that express the personal judgment freely. So whatever your thoughts, whatever your thinking capabilities, whatever your knowledge, you need to express yourself freely in front of your colleagues or in front of your higher authorities. That is the first right to us. As an engineer, we need to express our feelings, our thoughts, our ideologies, and our judgment freely in front of the authorities, right? This is the first right we have. The second right is to refuse to carry out illegal and unethical activities. So to right to refuse, right to don't accept, right to avoid. So illegal and unethical activities, just we need to go for and we need to refuse. Don't accept the unethical things in the company. So illegal and activities and unethical activities we need to refuse. We, this right we have, right to refuse. And the third right is talk publicly about one's work within bounds set by confidentiality obligation. Right, this is another right. So, right to talk publicly about one's work within bounds set with a confidentiality obligation. So here, look at here, this confidentiality obligation is the key point here. So confidentiality means just maintain the secrecy. So maintain the confidentiality of the company's information, whatever information is here. Just we need to maintain accuracy levels with the confidentialities, right? So maintain the secrecy, of information of the company. This is our obligation, right? And next, right to engage in the activities of the professional societies. So engage, mingle with the professional societies, right? This is another right we have in the name of engineering rights, right? Next, the right to protect the clients and the public from the dangerous situations that might arise from one's work, right? So protect the society from the dangerous or hazard situations, right? So protect the society and protect the company from the dangerous situations. So this protecting is another right of an engineer. Then last one is a right to professional recognition of one's service. It is the very important thing. So we have the right to recognize our works and our services by our higher authorities. It is a key important thing. Recognition of work. Recognition of work is very important thing. Recognition of work will leads to motivate ourselves, right? Motivate ourselves, and it will leads to get more results to the company. So this is the first thing, recognition of our work by higher authorities. It is another right. So these are the different rights we have. So rights of engineers. So social experimentation, this thing. So protect the safety to the public as well as the employees and employers. And next thing is here, responsibility to employees to develop a company and to solve the company's problem, and rights of the engineer. In this point, we have this slide, right? These are the few rights. And next, global issues. So global issues. So here, global means throughout the international. So here, international issues we need to face here. Some of the international issues, some exports and imports, and dealing with the other countries, right? Make the agreements between other countries. These are the few things we need to consider here in the name of global issues, right? And next, engineers and managers as consultant and the headers. So as an engineer, we need to play the different roles as a engineer, as a manager, engineer as a consultant, engineer as a headers of their departments. So engineers play different roles based upon the situations, based upon the work allotted to them. So based upon that work and the situation, engineers play a manager's role. That is engineers and the manager's role. And engineers, some of the situations, some of the working conditions, engineer play a consultant role. some of the situations engineers plays a consultant roles. That is here, engineers consultant as a consultant. And some of the cases, some of the special projects and contracts allocated and allotted to them, engineers, then that particular situation, the engineer will place a headers, departmental header roles, right? So engineers as a headers. So based upon the situation, based upon the project, or based upon the work, the engineers will place as a manager, as a consultant, as a headers of the department, right? And the next thing is moral reasoning and ethical theories. Moral reasoning and ethical theories. So here, responsibilities of engineer is the collegiality and the loyalty. Collegiality means here mingle with the colleagues, mingle with the colleagues in the workplace, and having the loyalty. Loyalty means simply royalty, right? Next, having them give the respect for the authorities. Next, collective bargaining. Collective bargaining means just bargain for their necessaries and requirements. That is called as here collective bargaining. Next, maintain secrecy levels or confidentialities about the company's data. Don't reveal any information about the companies to others, right? Next thing is here conflicts of interest. So here conflicts means disputes. Conflict of interest means here, so some of the persons having some type of interest, some of the people having another type of interest. So here conflict between the people and their interests and their interest. So these persons interest and those persons interest. So here disputes between interests of these two groups, that is called as a conflicts of interests. So occupational crimes. So crimes means reveal the data to the company, insider trading, and unethical things, fraudulent things, and damage the society. So these are the few unethical things or comes under here. Occupational crimes, right? Reveal the company's data to others, right? Insider trading, not paying the taxes regularly. So these are the few crimes, occupational crimes. So we don't do these things. So engineer responsibility, these are the few duties we need to follow. Next, already we discussed rights of engineer, professional rights, employees' rights, intellectual property rights, and discriminations. So discrimination means, here listen carefully, discrimination means just not having the equality, just only having partialities and clear politics in the company, right? That is called as discrimination. So different qualities, different treatment to different people. That is called as here discrimination. Discrimination, right? So discrimination means not having equality. So based on caste feelings and religion feelings, next income feelings, gender feelings, area feelings. These are the few things or the major barrier to the company, right? Major barrier to the company. So that is point is here discrimination, right? So these are the things or comes under here moral reasoning and the ethical theories. Ethical theories. So next, why study engineering ethics? Because it is the right thing to do. Because it is right thing to do. That's why we need to study the engineering ethics. We can understand what are the right things and what are the don't do's, and what type of behavior we need to have, and what are the negative attitude and what are the wrong manner we don't have in the workplace. So we know all these things. That's the right, and that's why this engineering ethics the right thing to do. That's why we study the engineering ethics. So next thing, we study engineering ethics. It is required. It is necessary, right? As an engineer, we should learn the engineering ethics. That's why it is required. We should learn. That's why we're learning the engineering ethics. Next, it is a part or crucial part is being a modern engineer scientist. So to become a modern engineer scientist, to become a crucial part or to become a innovative person, we need to learn engineering ethics. Next, it may save lives. It may save lives, right? To know and to learn, to study engineering ethics, it will gives us saves our lives and also keep you out of trouble. Out of trouble. It may protect some tenders, a part of our body and soul from legal assault, right? These are the few benefits to learn the engineering ethics, right? So next point is here, need of engineering ethics. So here, to promote moral autonomy. So moral means, so to learn right things and wrong things, right? So autonomy means just having the freeness, having the freedom when we are following the ethics and morals, right? That is called as here moral autonomy. Moral autonomy. So engineers are a professional who works on special knowledge, act on behalf of other members of the society. So here engineers are professionals who work a special knowledge and act on behalf of other members of the society. Next thing, the purpose of engineering is to solve real world problems. Look at here to solve the real problem of real world problems, right? So this thing to solve the real world problems, we can have the engineering ethics and we can have the engineering knowledge to solve the problems of the world, right? Next thing is engineers are or problem solvers who sets the quickest. You are the quickest, right? And better and less expensive way to meet through the challenges, to meet tough challenges by using your quickness, right? And by using your better knowledge, right? But with less expensive way to solve the problems of the company and the society. That's why engineers are the problem solvers. Engineers are the problem solvers, right? Not the create the problems. Just you are the solutions to the problems, right? Next, last, they contribute solutions to the environmental de degradations and sustainabilities. So contribute solutions to the environmental problems. So here in this point we have the solutions where we are provide solutions. Here also problem solvers. In this here also problem solvers, world problem solvers, right? So having moral autonomy. These are the few things we need to consider here in the name of need of engineering ethics, right? Need of engineering ethics. Next, coming to the part history of ethics. So in this ethics, first we started in the 4th century BC. So the engineering ethics and also ethics was developed by Plato. The theory of morality influence morality has on human behavior. So this is the book, famous book written by the Plato. So based upon this book, the ethics was developed in the 4th century, 400 to 500 years between. Plato was developed in the first phase, right? The theory of morality, influence morality has on human behavior. So morality means having the ethics and morals and also values. These three things influencing upon the human behavior. That is the thing here. The morality influence morality has on human behavior. This is the first phase of completion of 4th century and 5th to 6th centuries between, and 500 years to 600 years. Between these two, the second phase of ethics become. So here, Pythagoras and Hippocrates, right? Sorry, Pythagoras and Hippocrates, early moral philosophy, and Hippocrates oath. In this is the name, and this is the second phase to develop our ethics. All right. After a long time, 1700 centuries BC, this thing was came here. Beginning of physicians and practice on their medications, preparation of medications. Medications means pharmaceutical products, right? So in the 1700 years or centuries, 17th centuries, then the third generation will appear. Next, primitive man. Behavior necessary to get along in a group. After completion of these two, next 16th to 19th century, here we have famous great personalities we have. They developed some theories we have. So they are fathers of traditional ethical theories. Immanuel Kant, next John Stuart Mills. So simply this is called as J.S. Mill. J.S. Mill. Next, Bentham, J. Bentham. Next, David Hume. Next, Castro, Sir Francis Bacon. These are the few great personalities who developed the ethics in 16th to 19th century. In the previous classes, we have these different centuries. Just look at here. Look at here. Bentham, 1798, utilitarianism theory, virtues theory by Aristotle, deontological theories, rights theory by Locke and Hobbes, Kohlberg theory, Gilligan theory, Henge dilemma, modern ethics, and 20th century based ethics. These things are developed in these centuries. So Immanuel Kant, Bentham, right? These things, each person's theory we have in the next classes, right? Next, in the 14th to 15th centuries, physicians examine the educational needs for human beings. Next, Saint Thomas Aquinas, moral theory based upon the religions. So, in the 3rd century, Saint Thomas prepared and developed the moral theory based upon the religion. Now, 20th century, birth of bioethics. Bioethics was developed in this 20th century. And next, professional behavior. As a job holder, what type of behavior we need to have. This theory, this concept was developed by W.D. Ross in the 20th century, right? Next, theory of justice. It was also developed by John Rawls in the 20th century. Next, L. Kohlberg, stages of moral development. This topic we have in the next class. This the thing, Kohlberg's theory. Just to have the 3 stages of here. Pre-conventional stage, conventional stage, and post-conventional stage. Kohlberg theory. This was developed in the 20th century. Kohlberg's theory. Just I shown in the other slides, right? stages of moral development: conventional, pre-conventional, post-conventional. These three was developed by Kohlberg. This topic we will discuss in the future classes, right? And 21st century society needs and professional reactions. Based upon this thing, we have already, I told you in the first unit, business ethics, professional ethics, engineering ethics, ethics in workplace, right? Rights of engineer, roles and responsibilities played by engineer. These all topics are comes under here, 21st century. So these are the 4th, 5th, 6th, 17th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 20th, 21. These are the different phases of ethics, right? So this is all about history of ethics, right? So in brief, ethics is want as well as civilization itself. The orientation is don't to do others what you do not done to yourself, right? Do not do to others what you do not done to yourself, right? Socrates, a classical Greek philosopher. Socrates is here a classical Greek philosopher, expresses that we should do good to all, like sun who gives us light and life to earth. So these are the few definitions given by the few great persons in the name of history, right? So up to now we discussed the scope of ethics, next history of ethics, need of ethics, why we should study the ethics. These 4 topics are discussed in the class, and we will meet in the next session with the new topics of the same unit of our professional ethics and human values. Okay, thanks for listening, guys. Stay home, stay safe. Bye.